Hi, welcome to Books with Lexi. Today's video is the mid-year freakout tag. This is actually my third year doing this video. The other two are private, so you cannot watch them. So I don't really know why I brought it up, but it's very exciting to be doing this tag for the third year in a row. If you are aware of whenever I talk about my booktube anniversary, this is probably a little bit confusing because I do say my booktube anniversary is August 31st. I posted like 4 videos over a span of 6 months before I actually consistently started posting videos. So I count August 31st because that's whenever I started posting videos very regularly. But one of the 4 videos that I posted before then was the mid-year book freakout tag. These are the questions that Kayla from Books and Lala uses. I like hers because she added a couple extra at the end, I believe, from the original. So I'll have one of hers linked in the description. But this is pretty much to round up the first half of the year. These are my answers from January 1st to June 30th, the first full half of the year. I personally am not somebody that could have posted this in June because then the first full half of the year had not gone by. So it wasn't the middle of the year officially. So in the first half of the year, I read 139 books. A lot of them are shorter things, some novellas, some manga. So not 139 full-length novels, but still I'm very happy with this. My goal for the year was to get to 200, and I for sure am going to hit that. I don't think I'm going to go over any other stats, but I will say that this has not been the best reading year for me. I don't know why, but I've barely been getting any 5 stars. The last 3 months, my average is like a 3.4, which is so low for me. So hopefully the second half of the year picks up. I would love to know in the comments what your favorite book of the year has been, so I have some other books to try because like I'm just doing something wrong. Okay. Let's get into the questions. The first one is your best book of 2023. I don't like giving one answer. I don't like committing to this. So I am going to go with 2. I think if I had to choose The Passengers by John Mars would be my answer. This one for me was so tense and stressful and had a lot of super interesting commentary, like social commentary, things to think about. We are following a group of people who are all in separate cars that are set to a collision course, and they are all self-driving cars. We are at a time where self-driving cars are standard and there's no manual override, and somebody like hacks the system and sets them all for this collision course. And then there's like this group of people who are tasked with deciding who lives and who does not. And also like the media gets to vote. There's just a lot of interesting conversations on like whose life is more important than whose, and just like different things that go with that. And I was obsessed with it. I don't think that this is a perfect book. I think that like towards the end there are a few issues that I have, but like I had the best time reading this. This is probably my favorite book of the year, but a close second, my favorite horror book of the year so far has been This Is Where We Talk Things Out by Caitlin Marceau. This is a novella, and we are following Miller, who is estranged from her mother, and she's about to get married and decides that she wants to have like one last attempt to make amends. So she decides that she's gonna go to the cabin that her mom owns, and they're going to hang out for a weekend. And then she gets snowed in, and things are really weird. Her mother is trapped in the past and dealing with things, and it's just like a really odd situation. So I highly recommend this as well. Next is the best sequel you've read in 2023, and my answer for this is going to be Lost in the Moment and Found by Sean McGuire. I actually think this may be my new favorite in the series. I don't know why, but I just absolutely loved this one. It feels very different, but also similar to the rest of the series. We're following a new character. This one can be read as a standalone from the rest of the books. It would be a good starting point if you don't feel like reading all of them, but I still recommend them. We are following a character who goes to this shop where like lost things are found. And it's just like, I don't know, it's so good. So this is my favorite sequel that I have been like continuing. I have read other sequels that I like, but I read the whole thing this year. So this is my answer. Next is favorite reread, and I've actually done a lot more rereading this year than I have in the past. I've really enjoyed all of my rereads, but I'm gonna give you 3 answers. So the first one was one that I actually read last year, and I just like felt like I needed to reread it, and that was Sundial by Katrina Ward. I just think that like the way she leaves clues for the reader and just her writing itself and just like the plots are so good, and I'm obsessed with her writing, and I get to go to an author event with her in August, and I'm freaking out. I'm so excited. I'm gonna get there early. I'm gonna sit in the front row. I'm gonna sit there with like a stupid grin on my face the whole time because like I am obsessed with her writing. I don't know what it is because usually I don't care about writing that much. I mean, like I do, but like it's not the thing that like drives me. Like I don't read books for good writing. I read books for good plot, but this has an incredible plot. It's so interesting. It gives you so many things to think about. There's so many clues that like upon reread you pick up on. You're like, and the writing incredible, obsessed. And then 2 other rereads. I read these when I was first getting into horror books, and both of these I still absolutely love. They are both novellas: Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones and We Need to Do Something by Max Booth III. Absolutely obsessed with both of these. There's like weird unexplained things in both of these. This one follows a very dysfunctional family trapped in a bathroom during a tornado, and this one follows a group of friends, and our main character is trying to save everybody from a mannequin attack. They're both so good. And since I hadn't read them since 2021 when I was getting into horror, I was scared, but like I'm still absolutely obsessed with both of these. Next is the genre I've been reading and or loving the most this year. I'm pretty positive my top read genre is horror, and I would say that I've been loving horror and dark thrillers the most this year. Also stupid, over the top, ridiculous thrillers, The Rating Retreat. So yeah, I feel like those are the ones that cause me to react the most, and that is what makes me really love a book, like getting strong emotions out of me. So generally just like dark things, but it's mostly been horror. Next is a new release I haven't read yet but want to. And for this I'm going to go with She Started It by Cyan Gilbert. I'm sorry if that is pronounced incorrectly. This one just like I feel like is everything I want in a thriller, like vacation settings, probably some rich people drama. Yeah, they're on a private island, definitely rich people, like just dysfunctional relationships. I feel like it's gonna be ridiculous and over the top, and that is just what I want in thrillers. I don't want it to be realistic and like something that could happen in real life very easily. Like, what is the fun in that? So like that's why I love The Writing Retreat so much. I just thought it was so fun, and when I am reading thrillers, that's really what I want, and I feel like this one is one that's really going to work for me, and I cannot wait to read it. Next is my most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have 2. I literally cannot pick between the 2 of them. The one technically has come out already in the UK. It is out. I have a copy of it. Have I read it yet? No, because I'm scared. But Looking Glass Sound by Katrina Ward. I also am going to get a copy of the US one at that author event. And like, I don't know why I'm like this. I don't usually own, the pages are kind of stiff. Weird. I don't usually own 2 copies of books, especially if I haven't read it yet, but it is what it is. So this one I think deals with an author. Yeah, honestly, I don't really want to read the synopsis, but I know it deals with an author, and like I just trust Katrina Ward. Like I will read whatever. So this is for sure one of my most anticipated reads. And then the other one is obviously Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I will read whatever she writes. I don't care. She's another one that I think her writing is so good, and it just like sucks you into the story, and I cannot wait to read this book. Also, I'm obsessed with the cover. Like both of these books, I just can't, I cannot, I cannot wait to read them. But like I'm putting it off because I'm just like really scared because I am absolutely obsessed with books that they've both written before, and I just but I have faith that they're both going to be incredible. Next is my biggest disappointment. I feel like I've been disappointed by a lot of things. Let me take a look. Sorry if there's a slight angle change. I had to take a break for a second. Next is my biggest disappointment, which is going to seem a little odd because of what I just said. But it is Little Eve by Katrina Ward. So this was republished last year in the fall, but this was the book that came out before The Last House on Needless Street, and while reading this I could see a lot of elements that were improved upon to move into the stuff that she's writing now. But this one was just like a little too confusing for me, and like not in the way that her other books are, and just like the writing wasn't as good as it is in her other books, and it was just like a little slow and boring for me. But I do love this cover, and I'm keeping it because I just love her books. But yeah, this one sadly was a disappointment for me, but I'm not that upset about it because I know that it was written before the two that I love. So very disappointing, but also it's okay. Next is my biggest surprise, and this is Alice in Borderland. This is a manga. There are 6 volumes out now. The 6th one just came out, and I bought it immediately. This is like a horror thriller manga, and I cannot believe how obsessed I am with this. It is also a TV show, which very much contributes to my obsession with this, but it is just so interesting. We are following characters who wake up and they are in a world where they have to play these games to get a visa to survive. They're like these horrific games. Tons of people die. There's just a lot of super interesting things to think about in here. We are watching them play these different kinds of games, and there are like intellectual games, there's heart games, there's like physical games, there's combination games. So there's so many like unique things that are happening in here. Like it doesn't feel repetitive even though they're constantly playing games, because they're all so different. And I just love the characters, and I love the plot, and I love all of the things that it has like caused me to think about. I'm obsessed with it. Like but I had not really heard anyone talk about this. I hadn't really heard anyone talk about the TV show. So whenever I read it, it was like a complete shock that I was immediately obsessed with it. I don't really watch TV, and I read the first volume of this and I was like, oh, I have to watch a TV show right now. So I was watching the TV show. I can't. There's so many interesting things that happen in this. And honestly, it is my newest obsession. For me, this feels different than a novel. So like my favorite story that I've consumed this year is actually Alice in Borderland, over The Passengers. But I think a lot of it also comes from my love of the TV show. So like I just can't pick this as my favorite. But like this has been my biggest obsession of the year. Like I talk about it all the time, and it's absolutely one of my favorite things ever. So yeah, even if you don't typically love manga, I think this is a great one. It is so good, and I highly recommend it. Next is a favorite new author, either a new to me author or a debut author, and I'm gonna go with Keelan Patrick Burke. I read Sour Candy, and it is like not even 100 pages, but this was so good. I cannot wait to read more from him. This was just like disturbing and a really good time. So I currently have 3 more books on my shelves. Thank you, Sherry, for sending me them for my birthday. But yeah, I really think that this is going to be an author that I could love like a lot of his stuff. Next is my newest favorite character, and I was looking at my shelves and honestly I couldn't come up with like a favorite character from a novel. Once again, I don't know how much the show has influenced this, but there's a character in here named Chichia, and like that character is so interesting and has a lot of like nuance to it, and I guess that's my answer. But like also maybe that's influence from the TV show, because I was like reading these and watching the TV show at the same time. But like other than that, I really can't think of anything, so I guess my answer is going to be Chichia. Next is a book that made me cry, and I honestly don't think I've cried at a book this year. Like I cannot think of one. I looked through my list of like all the 139 books that I've read, and I don't have an answer. I just don't read books that lend to me crying. Yeah, I just looked again and I don't have an answer. Next is a book that made me happy, and every time I answer this, like, I feel like such a weirdo because all the books that make me happy are not like happy books, but like The Writing Retreat was so much fun. Obviously Alice in Borderland, Lost in the Moment and Found, We Need to Do Something, which was a reread. I don't know, like finding books that I'm obsessed with makes me really happy. So that's like not a real answer. I guess The Wedding Crasher by Mia Sosa was a fun one. Like I enjoyed that, but like that's not the first thing that comes to my mind. It's like my feelings towards books that are positive, and that makes me happy as opposed to the book itself making me happy. Maybe that says something about me, but yeah, honestly, any book that I've loved, almost any book that I've loved, just generally makes me very happy. Next is the most beautiful book that I bought or received this year. I have two answers, and these were both birthday presents. So We Can Never Leave This Place by Eric LaRocca. It is just so cool, and I really like it. I like the colors. I like how it is like a painting. Like it looks like it's done on canvas. Very cool. And then the other one, Head Like a Hole by Andrew Van Way. Just such a cool cover. Both of these are horror books, and I received both of these. This one was from Kelsey from Slime Slashers, and this one was from Michelle from Michelle's Library. So thank you both for both of these. I love these covers, and I cannot wait to read them. Okay, books I need to read by the end of the year. Any of the ones that I talked about, like I really need to read. She Started It. Some other ones, I have My Sweet Girl by Amanda Giaitissa. I've given this author 5 stars. Another previous 5-star author, Bad Man by Dathan Auerbach. One that I have not read from before, but like I just think I'm really gonna love, Paradise Club by Tim Meyer. I have read from this author, Touch the Night by Max Booth III. I've loved both of the books I've read from Max Booth III. Very excited. Some new releases, 0 Days by Ruth Ware and The Only One Left by Riley Sager. I'm super excited about the new Lisa Jewell that's coming out. Tons and tons of books that I cannot wait to read. And then there's one more that I am going to mention, and that is Mary by Nat Cassidy. I'm terrified to read this because of the amount of people that have told me that I'm going to love it. But also, I really do think that I could like it because of a lot of things everyone has said. So this is another one. Next is the favorite video I've done so far this year. I have a lot of ideas that I've been putting off. So like there are ones that like come to mind that I'm working on, but one of my favorites this year was whenever I read The Passengers. That is just a 1-book vlog. That was a lot of fun. I really loved the whole concept that I came up with like a Secret Santa book exchange thing that I did with a lot of my Escape the Readathon co-hosts. That one I had a lot of fun with. What else? I don't even know what other videos I've done. I really loved my videos with my booktuber taste match. The one I did with Riley and Kaylee recently. Those ones are so much fun. So yeah, I guess those are all of my favorites. I have a lot of super exciting ones coming up that I'm even more excited for, but I will have all of those videos linked in the description. I had a lot of fun making all of those. And the last question is favorite book community members. I am going to just say that I'm obsessed with the book community. I've made so many incredible friends that I think have absolutely wonderful content that you should check out. A lot of them are like on my channel featured a lot, but there are 2 that I'm going to, I guess, shout out because I think they are severely underhyped. The first one is Lauren from Happy Haunts Library, and the second one is Michelle from Michelle's Melancholia. I think both of them have such incredibly done content. The ideas are really good. The execution is incredible. They both read horror books like primarily, and I know they read some thrillers and stuff. So please check out their channels because they're both so good and so underrated. So those are all of the questions. That is the mid-year book freakout tag for 2023. I think I talked about a lot of the books that I've loved this year. Obviously not all of them. I have more than like 4 or 5 5-star books, but once again, this really has not been the best reading year for me so far, so I hope it picks up. I have a lot of super exciting books that I think I'm going to love that I am planning on reading soon. So definitely let me know your favorite book that you have read so far this year. And if you have any recommendations for me, please leave them in the comments because I really, really need some more 5-star books. If you're looking to find me in other places on the internet, everything is linked in the description, including my Bookstagram, my Storygraph, and my Patreon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye!